Ben-Shalom, welcome to the Weekly Squeeze. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm excited. This is your first interview, fresh off the announcement that you are the host of a Netflix show, which is a pretty big deal. I actually had lunch with Jamie Geller recently, and she tells me, do you know my friend, the one who's hosting that Netflix show? I said, you have a friend hosting a Netflix show? Really? You know? And then I saw the announcement, and I was like, she wasn't kidding. So I introduced you before the segment began. You're a Jewish dating coach, the marriage-minded mentor. You live in Israel, and now you're the host of a Jewish matchmaking show on Netflix. I have so many questions. Ask
away. I'm here.
Okay. The show starts May 3rd. It's been tightly under wraps. There hasn't been a preview until 5 minutes ago, which I caught. So much going on. First of all, how did Aleeza Ben-Shalom from Pardes Chana, Israel, end up on Netflix? Just fill us in.
Back in the day. So I started out matchmaking online. I got into it because I just wanted to help people, and I was doing what I would call mitzvah matchmaking. And I ended up doing this professionally. I loved it. There was nothing more than this I wanted to do in the world. And I said, okay, let's do it. My husband goes, well, if you're going to do it, you have to make a business. Otherwise, you got to get a job. I was like, no, I want to do this. It's the most meaningful thing in the world. He said,
Pro bono. Pro bono.
Let's do it. In addition to being a matchmaker, being a coach, I train matchmakers and coaches. And one of the women that I trained said, Aleeza, I got this call. She runs her business. And they said they're doing a matchmaking show, and they interviewed me. And she goes, I don't want to do that. Listen, you and I, we run webinars for singles. We do things for matchmakers and coaches. She goes, you're good on camera. I gave them your number. I said, oh, good. So the truth is, a matchmaker made the match.
I love that. And you knew it was Netflix, or you weren't sure what it was? Like, did you have all the details?
At first, I have to think to the very, very beginning. If I knew, I can't remember at the very beginning, but soon after, they basically said, listen, Indian matchmaking came out. This is a spinoff, and we're going to do Jewish matchmaking. Are you open to that? I had seen.
Do you watch Netflix? I was about to ask you. You said you saw Indian matchmaking. I actually didn't see that. I don't have much time for watching. I don't take in so much media. But I did enjoy Love is Blind.
We don't own a TV, and I also don't take in much media. But because of the nature of my work and my job, I wanted to know what was going on in the world. And especially, I had been approached by other shows and other things, and I have to do research to understand and know what they're doing. And when I saw Indian matchmaking, I was like, oh, this is good. This is they really represented people. I feel like I understand them. This wasn't just entertainment. It was culturally educational. There was information, and it was entertaining on top of it. And I said, if they can represent that well, they could probably do that well for the Jews.
Right. So I watched the Love is Blind series just for research for my podcast.
Okay.
When Alexa was a contestant or rather a single on the show. And I was very vocal about how disappointed I was that she intermarried. And generally, I'm a little cautious when it comes to Netflix because there has been controversy about the content and how they represent Jews. So I am happy to hear that you found this show to truly represent, I guess, what the Jewish people, who the Jewish people are and how they date, and the important and meaningful and special, unique qualities that all these singles bring to the table. So let's talk a little bit about, first of all, your qualifications. We're all shadchanim. We all try to make matches. We all,
everybody's a yenta.
Yeah. But you are an author as well. You have 2 books,
Yes.
Your Guide to Relationships in a Socially Distant World, which I love.
That's virtual dating.
I love that because I sometimes feel like I'm virtually dating my husband because he's out of town. You know what I mean? There's what to learn there. And Get Real, Get Married. Your guide to getting over your hurdles and getting under the chuppah. So were those things that Netflix took into consideration, that you were a prolific author and involved in Ish Torah? How much of a background check did they do? Maybe you were insane.
For me, I provided them everything. So I gave them links to my book and links to my website. I showed them other productions and things that I was involved in. So they got to see me virtually. They heard my podcast. They saw everything. So I do believe that they checked me out and kind of did a background check to make sure that it was for real.
Right. And saw how adorable you are. So here you are living in Eretz Yisrael. How many years are you guys up in Israel?
2 years.
2 years. And from where?
From Philadelphia.
Get out of town. Get out of town. Talk about
We
blessing.
got out of town. We're
You
in
did.
Pardes Chana.
Talk about blessing, by the way, because a lot of people are hesitant to make Aliyah or move to Israel because they, I left my music career to some degree behind. I don't sing in English as much here, but my life and my career has flourished in so many ways. So look at the blessing that came your way.
I have to say, and being able to earn a living in Israel, people are saying, oh, you're never going to earn a living. And for me, the opposite was true. We moved here and I knew that for my business and my industry that I would grow. In Israel, you could be like a big fish in a little pond. It's a small little country, although there's hundreds of matchmakers here, you really have an opportunity to flourish. And I did tell Netflix up front, and I was very clear. I said, listen, thanks for the interview, but I'm moving to Israel. Like, is that a deal breaker? And they were like, nope, that's wonderful. We're so happy.
We can afford to fly you out.
I said, yes, that's great.
All right, cool. And the truth is, this is not something that happened yesterday. I'm assuming that it's been a bit of a wait until the show airs. How long has been the gap since you filmed the show and you flew to America and you were on set until now, May 3rd?
It was last year. We started filming in February of last year.
Right.
And it's coming out, a little bit over a year later.
You must be excited to see the footage and nervous.
I did get it.
You got a sneak peek?
Yes, it's so
okay, good. I want to talk about it. Okay,
I'm in love.
I want to talk about the experience of being part of the Netflix family as you produce the show. I know that Love Is Blind took like 38 days to film. A couple other reality shows maybe even a little less, but some shows can take more depending what's going on. So what was the time frame?
The time frame, this was months. So we started filming in February, but you have to realize we did casting before February. So February 2022, we filmed, but they were doing casting before that for months to bring people to decide who was going to be on.
Who the singles will be.
And then from February until August, we did filming. And it was basically 3 or 4 weeks in America, a few weeks at home, filming in Israel, a few more weeks in Israel, a few weeks in America, a few more weeks in Israel, filming in Israel, back to America, on and off for 7 months. I spent 10 weeks out of the country.
And you kept it under wraps because nobody knew that this was happening.
They're like, you can't say anything, no social media, and everybody's going, oh, Aleeza, that's so interesting. You have business in America. You're a dating coach and matchmaker. What? I mean, how?
Who are you setting up? Who is this that you are setting up?
Why are you so important that you're going to America for your business and you're there for 3 weeks? It's not like a 3-day or 5-day vacation or a visit.
You're like, sit tight. Don't change the channel. I'll be right back.
Right. And all the teachers, they're like, you need to be here. Your children need you. This is difficult. And I'm like, I'm so sorry.
This is an investment.
We were here a year and then I started flying out, and it was an investment of time, effort, and a labor of love.
Beautiful. I saw that Cindy from Israel, who I met at an Nefesh B'Nefesh event, she was one of the singles, and I want to talk about that for a second. She's adorable, by the way. I don't know if she got set up. I don't know what her deal is. She definitely has a single spiel on social media. That's like her thing. So if I heard that her Persian mother met a guy that she's dating, I'll be very, very happy for her. But let's talk about the contestants or these singles. I mean, in the secular Jewish world, how are people dating these days? Is there an additional struggle because of Judaism? I know that there are many Jews who don't live a Torah life, but that doesn't mean that they're ready to marry someone that is either not Jewish or doesn't, practice on some level or even believe in God. There's the subject of atheism, Jewish atheists. I mean, if you're on Twitter, you meet every type and stripe. So how did they pull together a group of singles, and what is the struggle that these singles have been having up until now that you are going to be addressing on the show?
So they pulled together a very diverse group of singles, many different ages, stages, and backgrounds, 20s, 30s, 40s, secular, observant, traditional, a new term that I call flexadox. There's a lot of people who are experiencing themselves and their Judaism and trying to explain it, fit it into a box. And Judaism doesn't really work that way, right? 15 million Jews and 15 million ways to be Jewish. So what we really need to do is to understand each and every person, which is my goal, get a flavor and a sense of who they are, deeply, deeply understand it, and then go into the world and go, okay, let me see from my Rolodex of people and from my back end and all of my networks, where can I find somebody that would be an appropriate match? Either right, we either have a spot on match, or I'm going to call it a growth match, meaning where I want somebody to look at a match with some different eyes and say, I heard that these are your criteria. I'm not ignoring them. I found something that's interesting, and let me explain why I think this might be better for you, because you told me something, and that triggered me to think that that would be a good match for you. And they're like, oh, let me think. Maybe I'll be open to your idea. I didn't think of dating that way, but I really appreciate the guidance and the feedback.
Right. So I actually married a Sephardi Jew. My parents were not thrilled, to say the least. And it was a match made in heaven. I mean, a match made on 47th Street. We both were working over there in the Diamond District. I found my diamond. He found his. But the point is that sometimes the more open you are to the world, the harder it is to find a match, because there are so many options when you don't have a very, very particular list, like a lot of Orthodox Jews do. Everything's very, very specific. And if he didn't go to yeshiva, and if he doesn't wear tzitzit, and if he doesn't cover, and if she's not going to cover her hair, keep a kosher kitchen, it's not a match. But I feel like over here, you must have had so many components, and of course the pressure of being in a time frame, and being on a show and the cameras. Was this an opportunity for these people to have an authentic dating experience? Like, how did that unfold?
It's an awesome question. And you would think that it's not authentic. I mean, it's as real as it could be, and go over, you have to do multiple takes and things. It's not like that. The cameras, they put a mic on you, they start rolling, you're in front of the camera, and whatever happens between people, it happens. They are just catching the moments as they come. You see some people in general in all shows, like they might look a little nervous, or somebody's shy, or somebody's talking too much because they're nervous. Everybody handles stress in a little bit of a different way. But I actually had a lot of conversations with the people that I worked with. And I said, listen, you're going to be on camera, and there's going to be things that are moving around. You're going to hear noise. It may appear to be distracting. And as much as you can, I want you to be completely present with the person that you're with and experience that. I don't know what's going to come of it. Off camera, we'll send you on a date too, right? But on camera, I want you to actually try to be present with the distractions and knowing that this is what it's going to be. And I'm going to say I coached them and I prepped them for the experience, so that when we went into it, they were as authentic as they could be. And a lot of people were really grateful. They're like, because I understood what was going to happen, I let my guard down, and what you see is really me. Right. I think that the people are going to be pleased with what is represented, right? Because I think it's very authentic and true to who they are as people. And I know for me, if you look at that and you're like, is that really her? That's me. When you meet me in person, I look like that. I sound like that. I mean, I don't look like that. That's a lot of makeup. But when I'm fancy, I look like that. Otherwise, you could see me plain, and I sound like that. And
the cameras didn't intimidate you. The cameras didn't intimidate you. You did your thing. You were laser focused.
For me, I had been sitting in front of the cameras for a year doing virtual webinars with singles and training matchmakers and coaches. And I was so comfortable in front of my own camera that when I appeared in front of a real camera, it was just like not a thing. I was really very comfortable. I mean, I'm not an actress. It's not like I don't have a background in acting. You could give me lines on a stage and I could remember 4 words, like that was it,
Well, you don't have to be an actress. You just have to have a great personality and, the gift of gab, which you do, as I do. So, I'm a podcast host. You're a Netflix show host, and Baruch Hashem, we have an opportunity to use our God-given talents. I'm just trying to imagine what this was like, because Netflix dating shows are very grown up, to say the least. There's a lot of bathing suits. There's a lot of inappropriate, footage, behavior, interactions, and it's supposed to be steamy and romantic. I personally think that's a beautiful thing. I think people should date in the most romantic atmosphere possible. I wish we can all have a beautiful set. I'm sure there were a lot of, they send the couples out on dates, and then it's really a fun, exciting experience.
There's a lot of incredible views, and there's a lot of incredible, unique types of dates and things that they're doing that are fun and engaging and entertaining experiences. But when you're talking, about steamy or
Right. How did they keep it kosher?
Right. So, well, first of all, you have secular and religious people on the show. Okay. So, what's kosher to me is the conversation. What's kosher to me is the heart to heart, the way that people connect with one another. Those are the kosher aspects. Visually, this is not a religious production. Okay.
Like they're not going to be showing it in the Jewish high schools.
Right. Correct.
Okay. That's fair. Fair enough.
Correct. But I think that if you're looking for a show that borders between representing Jews, Judaism, and Orthodox Judaism in a beautiful light, and every other kind of Jew in a beautiful way, and representing reality TV, making it engaging and entertaining, but it's not just entertaining, it's edutainment. You are getting an education and you're being entertained simultaneously. So you are not just sitting there and watching something and zoning out. What it encourages you to do is to zone in, to look within, and to say, if I'm single, oh, I wonder, maybe that's good advice. Oh, she said, date them till you hate them. Oh, what does that mean? Okay, I'm going to try that. That's good. I'm going to try that. And if you're not single and you want to help somebody single, there's tips and tools and resources. So it doesn't matter if you're, a matchmaker wannabe, or you want to coach a friend or a neighbor or
there's
a
what
relative.
To take away. There sounds like there's what to take away.
It's so rich. It is so dense. It is incredible. I feel really blessed because I feel truly represented. And I feel like the process, you see my process. You want to know what I do? Yes, I interview singles. Yes, I don't just set them up on a date. I will explain to them Aleeza's dating process and my advice and how I go about it and why I go about it and what I'd like them to try. And I don't give everybody, it's not one size fits all. This advice is for you and the same is for you. It depends on the person. Each person got different nuggets of wisdom that I share about the process that's particularly catered towards them.
Right. This is actually coming off the heels of my unorthodox life, which caused one of the loudest conversations about Netflix that I've heard in years, following Julia Hart's very open and revealing, I don't want to use the word exploitation, but the sharing of her family and her life and her thoughts and her experience as a Jew that changed her lifestyle. But the focus mostly was on Julia Hart's representation of the Orthodox Jewish community. Do you feel some sort of responsibility to rectify that, repair that, or just bring your own, message to Netflix? Or were you just like, that's her, that's me, and I'm not even going to look sideways. I'm going to focus on what I'm doing here?
I think we each have a mission in the world and what we're supposed to do here. For sure, my mission is to share about matchmaking, about the process of healthy relationships that are long lasting for a lifetime. And this isn't just for the Jewish world. This is for the entire world. And I do feel a personal sense of responsibility as a Jewish person to always be a light unto the nations, to be a Kiddush Hashem, and to light up the world and to spread light in a world that is full of darkness. So I think that there's not any one thing in a period of time that we could say, oh, I did it because of that. There's a ton of anti-Semitism in the world and very challenging things that come up. And if I light a candle, I've got light in a dark room. And if I light a really big candle or multiple candles, I can light up the world. And I wanted to light a huge candle and I wanted to light up the world. And I hope that gets rid of whatever darkness people see and whatever they feel in the world.
I love that. You're a lamplighter.
I'm a lamplighter.
Yeah. You're lighting souls and you are bringing flames together to create torches.
I want to ignite people. It doesn't take anything away from me to light somebody else up. I have a candle, you have a candle, I light yours, we both have light. Now there's more light in the world. And you do that with 20 other people. It takes nothing away from me to share and to give of myself and to light another light.
Right. Absolutely. I totally agree with that and support that notion. I like the idea that the show sets up a framework or an environment that's conducive to couples meeting and falling in love. But I have no idea what that looks like because I haven't seen the show. So can you describe to me what it was like a day of shooting, waking up in the morning, getting hair and makeup done, like maybe a more grueling day or something that was very synchronized? Bring us into the behind the scenes of the show, because by the time people hear this, the show will be like 2-3 days away and we want to get everyone excited, to watch. So what can you share with us What are some behind the scenes stuff?
Okay, so
Juicy.
behind the
Keep it
scenes for
juicy.
me, you just have to know that I loved this process. So maybe I was just made for this and I didn't know it until now.
Hey, there's no business like show business. There's no business like show business.
I mean, some people don't love it. It's hurry up and wait, right? So it's wake up and yes, hair and makeup and get dressed and be ready and then come on. I didn't have grueling days. The staff for sure had long days. I would get ready. I would go to set. They would tell me what time my call time was. And I had, for an intro meet and greet, I had an hour and a half with somebody to have this is what I normally do, a 90-minute discussion. Hello, how are you? Who are you? Let me get to know you. Great. Let me make a match. Let's be in touch. Let me give you some advice. And for me, that was the process. And at the end of my day, I get to go home. If I have filming the next day, great. If I don't, I might be in a city for a couple of days and I might have, in a week of filming, I might only have 2 days because they have to film the people and their family and their friends and other scenes and
right,
other
all
things.
The B-roll and C-roll and D-roll.
Exactly. And for me, I can work from anywhere in the world. So making Aliyah makes no difference. And working in, Jackson Hole, Wyoming also made no difference. It just didn't matter where I was in the country. I just picked up my real business when the cameras were off. And also, I also, in my downtime, which wasn't downtime, I was searching for matches. I had to match these people.
Right,
I
you're
had to
hustling.
meet them and then I had to match them. So I had to access my network,
right.
which probably one of the most challenging things. And this is only going to happen in season 1. But one of the most challenging things is that I couldn't say I was the matchmaker and I couldn't say anything. So I couldn't really put to my major networks the information out there. I had to have other people doing it, like, hey, if you're open to being on a dating show and you fit this criteria, we would love to talk to you and get to know you. And then I would have to have somebody else do the interview because until they signed an NDA, you can't talk to me. There was a little bit of navigating behind the scenes. And I have an incredible matchmaker that's on my team that I work with, Shayna, and she was like helping me to be the arms of making these things happen. It's very difficult to do this alone and secretively.
Right.
So,
and to be successful, there's a goal here. There's an end goal here. We're not wasting people's time.
To me, the end goal to me, everybody will get married. When? It's not on my timeline. That's God's timeline. Did you learn something? Yes. Did you grow? Yes. Are you a better human because of this? Yes. Do you have more relationship skills? Yes. Getting married, you're going to do that. Do you now know how to stay married? Did I teach you enough about relationships in order to choose the right partner that you will live with for a lifetime? If I did that, great. I don't even care who makes your matches. I care that you get married and I care that you stay married. That's the most important thing to me.
Right. I love it. But tell me also about the Jewish vibe that was on set. That must have been so. How was Netflix with all of this? Were they overwhelmed with? I mean, I can't even imagine so many Jews in a room, so many demands, so many particularities. I mean, it must have been like the United Nations.
They were so respectful. The production crew and the producers of the show were incredible. Jean, one of the main producers who is not Jewish, always was asking questions and curious whenever they would get food because they had to get orders for us. Don't worry, we're getting this. This is kosher. We took care of it. They were on top of every detail and it was a whole crew. I would walk in and there's 15 of them doing every little job from audio to cameras to production to the ones picking up the lunch and the interns. Everybody was, for me, they were outstanding. They were friendly. They were respectful. They were kind. They were curious. And I was trying to set up all of the single staff as well. Anybody who was in a relationship and it wasn't advancing, like
you get a groom and you get a bride and you get a groom and you get a bride.
I'm still calling one of these guys and I'm like, no, did you ask her to marry you yet? Because if not, I'm going to call her and tell her she has to insist on this. You're waiting on nothing. I already talked to you. It was so fun. Yeah, I'm encouraging people to build healthy relationships. So on set and off set, I was doing that. And people were so warm and so receptive. It was, and there was mostly, there were several people that were Jewish that were on staff, and then there was non-Jewish staff as well. They were incredible. By me, A++.
Mm-hmm. And on the other end, you feel like you guys made a Kiddush Hashem?
Wait till you see it.
Well, that's going to lead me to my last question. I have one more question. We're going to watch the season now. We're going to watch the episodes. We are going to get emotionally involved. We're going to have opinions. We're going to be yanting about it at Shabbos tables. We're going to be WhatsApping our mothers and our mother-in-laws. But now that I have you and I haven't seen the season, can you tell me something we should either look out for or know about? Like, there's going to be a story that comes out of this that everybody's like buzzing about that you probably know that we don't know yet. Is there anything in the show that's like particularly unique, special, remarkable, or controversial that you want to address? Now is your time.
Each single has their own story, and each person has their own growth trajectory, and you see it clearly. It's not hidden. It's not, I mean, this is completely unscripted. It's uncharted territory, and yet each person has their own thing. So one has to overcome the history and a breakup that happened that I think is affecting their future. And somebody else, I can't tell you who, but you got to watch. They each have their own story of, I want this, I need this, these criteria, and I'm stretching them. I'm like, okay, maybe we could try this. What do you think? I ask permission. I play with them a little bit through this. And what you're going to walk away with is a heartwarming, like, oh, like I could just watch 10 more seasons of this. This was just
so excited.
It was so fun and playful and enlightening. And everybody will walk away with at least one golden nugget of wisdom. They're going to come away. It'll be an Aleeza-ism, and it might be date them till you hate them, because that's in the trailer. So I can tell you that. But date them till you hate them is a mantra. That's not the only mantra. There are a lot of them in there, and everybody's going to find their golden nugget of wisdom, and they're going to use it and implement it in their lives. And to me, that's the goal, because I could help a few people on a show, fine. But if I could help millions of people in the world, now I lit the candle.
Terrific. I could not be more excited and more enthusiastic and supportive. I hope when I watch it, I will be able to send you a WhatsApp and be like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. I'm so obsessed with you right now. And I'm sure I will. So
message me.
Yes. Thank you for representing. Thank you for representing. And good luck with it all. I mean, you know, everything's in Hashem's hands, but yes. I have a good feeling about this. So looking forward.
Amen.
Thank you, Aleeza. Take care now. Thank you, Christina. Thank you.